Hi there! Welcome to our journey. Together we will travel to the future. We will jump to the year 2080 and zoom into a conversation between a grandmother, who used to be a top executive, and her granddaughter. The conversation will touch upon some of the flaws in both management and management education, which still exist today in 2017. We will thereby answer the question of why change is needed in the face of future challenges, and also give recommendations on how to practice management effectively using timeless principles. So, welcome to the year 2080.
Tell me, Grandma, what was doing business like back in 2017?
Back in 2017, most businesses followed one simple principle, that of profit maximization. It was all about generating profits, ignoring the negative effect this attitude had on employees, overall society, and the environment.
But why did companies only concentrate on profits?
Well, businesses followed simple rules that only considered increasing organizational outcomes. In general, the value that a company created was the result of a combination of human capital, provided by employees, and financial capital provided by shareholders. Although shareholders tend to trade stocks as quick as the wind changes, and employees were actually the ones working hard to keep the company's operations running, paradoxically, many companies prioritized shareholder satisfaction over employee satisfaction. Moreover, managers used their hierarchical power to give employees strict instructions and engage in close monitoring and controlling, utilizing rewards and punishments to ensure that everyone did what he or she was told to do. Many managers at that time were ruthless, hard-driving, strictly top-down, command and control fixated, shareholder value obsessed, and simply win at any cost kind of leaders, and business was viewed as one of the major causes of social, environmental, and economic problems.
Did nobody teach them that it's not nice to manage in such a way?
Unfortunately, such practices were part of management education. Business studies were treated as if they were mere science, neglecting all human aspects and variety it actually comprises. As a consequence, the role of morality and ethics was denied from managerial practice, and people were portrayed as purely self-interested. And since theories in social sciences tend to be self-fulfilling, unreflective and narrow-minded business schools brought forth exactly such managers who only cared about themselves and their profits.
Wow, and you were in the middle of all of this as a manager yourself?
Yes, I had just graduated from Maastricht University and was eager to climb the career ladder just like everyone else at the SBE. However, for a woman back then, it was not so easy to get into top positions anywhere in the world, as many companies still held traditional gender attitudes.
But how did it all change?
Business as usual did no longer suffice in the world back then, since the fourth industrial revolution was already on the rise. It brought a wave of technological advances that changed the way we lived, worked, and interacted with each other. It was obvious that people had to rethink old models of behavior and that an entirely different economic model was needed. One that focuses not on profits but on maximizing human well-being, on preserving the planet, on inspiring creative thoughts, on breaking down gender barriers, and on empowering people.
And what happened then?
Well, first of all, organizations started to pay attention to empirical findings that clearly showed them that increasing employee satisfaction pays off as it triggers innovation, productivity, and overall improves organizational outcomes in the long run. As a consequence, there was a shift of focus from shareholders to stakeholders and especially employees. In addition, there were clear indicators that strict monitoring, as taught before, had a tremendously negative impact on employee satisfaction. It threatened people's personal sense of autonomy, decreased their intrinsic motivation, and damaged their self-perception. Therefore, emphasis was put on employees' empowerment. Both management and management education started to let go of one-dimensional managerialist concepts that led managers to think inside the box. To face the challenges of the future, we needed the exact opposite. We were in dire need of managers thinking outside the box. Therefore, business schools started to reintegrate pluralism in their curricula and valued both hard facts as well as qualitative accounts in order to move away from a one-sided to a multidimensional perspective. In general, organizations extremely opened up to being more diverse and acknowledged that every industry, no matter whether traditionally dominated by men or not, needed women, and not only in supposedly female departments, but especially in executive positions. And they realized that they didn't need them because it was the more ethical or moral thing to do, but because they needed their expertise. They understood that a successful transformation of business could not be taking place without them.
So all of these new ideas, they were perfect solutions to the existing problems?
Well, actually, people realized that some of those ambitious ideas they always talked about sometimes fell victim to a phenomenon called grandiosity, which implicated that those ideas were often nothing more but big words without any meaning. This grandiosity posed a significant obstacle to learning and development, since inflated words such as empowerment were used without anyone actually understanding the idea behind it. It seemed obvious that engaging employees in decision-making would motivate them, but when they tried to put this into practice, it soon became clear that achieving a balance between enabling employees by giving them freedom and at the same time guiding them was easier said than done.
But Grandma, how did you manage future challenges then?
There are many different things that can be done, but I tend to fall back on 3 key principles that help me navigate through my daily work as a manager. First, I try to improve the quality of my decisions. As a manager, you're continuously busy with making decisions, which can have a huge impact on many people. Instead of only concentrating on the hard facts, I try to combine them with my gut feeling and intuition in order to achieve high quality outcomes. Intuition is a distinct form of information processing that, as a matter of fact, has several limitations, such as the potential for being biased. But still, intuition is often underestimated, and in combination with evidence, it serves me well in making my decisions. Another thing that I realized is that combining new and old models of management offers the largest benefits for organizations and my management style. For example, when power stemming from one's position in an organization was misused, it backfired by slowing down processes and harming the overall organization. Some form of hierarchy, however, is actually needed as the company grows larger, because with larger size comes more complexity. Such complex organizations benefit from the structure that a hierarchy provides. As a manager, you need to put aside your status and start involving employees up and down the hierarchy. And lastly, one of the most powerful tools I know is the art of reframing problems. I not only use it for myself, but I also encourage my employees to apply it to any kind of problem they are facing. Instead of jumping from a problem straight to the next possible solution, you first have to try to reframe the problem with a 7-step approach. Thereby, you not only open up to a whole new range of solutions, but also often get to the root of the actual problem. And that's actually also how companies started to reinvent themselves in the face of the 4th Industrial Revolution. They reframed the organizational problem of how to increase profits into how can we increase human well-being in our organization, overall society, and in the entire world. They basically started to follow the principle of creating shared value that creates value for society by addressing its needs and challenges while still generating profits. By reframing the idea of business, the focus of organizations completely shifted from maximizing profits to maximizing human well-being. Organizations started to follow through on the principle of creating shared value, which led them to adopting a holistic, long-term perspective that took more into account than just the short-term profits. And humans were finally put first.